Welcome back. Nice to see you here. Today I bring you a DIY for your spooky home decor, and this is just a very easy way to turn a very cheap looking plastic frame like these into something like this. So these are actually real bones. I found them myself in the woods. I do collect bones and I really like oddities. Of course, I will not support any type of oddity collecting that it's not cruelty free. So I just found these myself. I'm not sure what animal these belong to. I think this one at least is the little butt of a cat or maybe a big rat. Not sure, small cat, big rat. So I actually already have a tutorial for how to frame bones. You can check that here. I use an acrylic fake skull, very realistic one. So if you're not comfortable in owning real bones and skulls, an acrylic replica can be the best choice for you. This is a tutorial just for the paint job on these. So these frames, as you already saw, were very cheap looking. They were matte white, they were plastic, and they very much looked like plastic and not very appealing. And with just a simple trick of dry brushing, you can turn a very simple plastic frame into something that looks more like an antique. So let's start. Oh, hello makeup swatch. So first thing, of course, you're gonna get some frames. You can recycle one of your old frames if you don't really like the color, or you can just get some really cheap plastic frames. I got these frames from the dollar store near me, and they were both €2.20, so that's pretty affordable. 2 frames for less than €5, I'd say that's a bargain. As you can see here on the close-ups, they look cheap and they feel cheap, but the ornaments and the shape of it, it's really nice. I use this spray paint for pretty much everything. I've painted furniture with this spray paint, and I used it in plastic before. It works pretty well. I'm using a silver spray paint and a satin black spray paint. This is up to preference, but to me satin is the best finish. Glossy is just too glossy and gives it a little bit of a still plasticky kind of feel, and I'm really going for that antique gothic frame. So satin is right in between, and then what you do is just start spraying away. I'm putting my 2 frames together, and I have like a cardboard underneath just so I don't ruin my floor completely, and just spray away. Make sure to get every corner, inside, on the sides as well, between every little detail on those ornaments. I'm just gonna leave them overnight to dry, and the next day, as you can see, they are still a little bit shiny, but just the right in between. And now we're gonna do the dry brush technique. So dry brushing is having a layer of color that is completely dry underneath, in this case is black, and then using a second color to highlight the texture. I want the ornaments to be a little bit more shinier, so it has a little bit more depth. And so you grab a brush. In this case, I'm using a makeup fan brush. Actually, I just like recycling stuff, I guess. This is an old fan brush, so I'm just coating it with the spray paint. So I put a little bit of spray paint on the cardboard, as you saw there. The brush is not even wet, it's just coated with the spray, and then I'm lightly sweeping it over the frame. And I do this all over the frame, bit by bit. I keep putting spray on the cardboard, go there with my little brush, coat it a little bit, and then just gently sweep the entire frame. It's pretty subtle, it just gives the frame a little bit more dimension. It just looks prettier and more elegant, I think. Under a sky of lead, heat wave in the summer, your hair dance over, your body and chains, the television dance. So here's a side-by-side of one frame done, and the other one is just simple matte. on to the second frame as well and just do the exact same thing on a different angle so you guys can see. And with this brush, it even seems like it has like this scratch effect. Like, I really like it. It was not super intentional, but it usually happens with a wider brush. You just want to go through those like higher prominent areas of the frame. Those are the ones that you want to have more silver, more highlight, let's say. But when the brush hits like those flatter areas, it will make like that scratchy effect, which to me is a-okay, because it just looks like it's a normal spookier frame, in my opinion. After you're done, of course, you can use them to frame anything you'd like. You can use them to display bones, as I did, but you can obviously just put a picture of yourself or your loved ones or your cat, why not? Or just some artwork that you like. I love having a bunch of frames displaying artwork and stuff that I enjoy around me. I have an entire wall in my living room just for frames and other pieces of art. So I'm going to show you some other paint jobs that I did and some other frames so you have an idea how it can transform a frame. So this one is the most basic one ever. This is an IKEA frame. You probably recognize it. It's again originally white plastic. I just painted it all black, so I didn't put any effect to it. This is just a simple black and it's kind of dusty. I just removed it from the wall. So yeah, this is just simple black. It's the satin black as well. And I also like it simple like this. I don't like to have a wall full of frames with the exact same type of paint job or color, because I think it looks a little bit boring. But this way, having different types of black is a way of cheating with different type of effects. So this is just satin black, and this is Gustave's Doré Lucifer's Falling. And I just printed this on my printer, so that's it. Then I have this one here. This is also an IKEA frame. So these are also pretty cheap frames. I'm not sure of the price, but I think it goes around 5 euros. And this was also just plastic white. I used a different technique to paint this one. So first I used the silver. So the first layer is actually silver instead of black. And then I used a wet brush and I just went with the black dye all over. I think I diluted the black dye a little bit. So this is not spray paint, the black dye. I think it's acrylic. I just diluted a little bit and I went over it very loosely, and then I used a tissue to kind of absorb the excess of the black paint, so that way it darkens the silver and it makes it look a little bit old but almost metallic-y for this one, because I used the silver underneath, so it looks a little bit like old metal. And then with a black spray paint I just sprayed it very far away, so it just like sprinkles a little bit of paint, so it creates this effect, like dotted effect all around. It just looks like old metal. And then I think with a dry brush I went over it again to create these little like scratchy effects. And I really love this artwork. This is from one of my favorite artists ever. It's from Norman Lindsay, and I believe this drawing is called Desire. So yeah, just a couple of ideas to transform frames. All of these were white and plastic, and just with 1 or 2 colors and a little bit of patience and creativity, you can transform them completely. This is super fun to do, I think. You don't need to spend a lot of money in a fancy frame. You can create your own fancy frame. Alright, I think that's it for this video. I have plenty more of ideas for DIY home decor stuff, so if you guys like this, please give it a thumbs up so I know I should keep uploading more of this stuff. Maybe do a series of these. Let me know. Also, let me know if you try this, and if you post it on Instagram, just tag me, because I'm curious and I want to have a look. I think this is goodbye, so I'll see you next time. Bye bye!